So I will start by sharing my screen and going through some just general program updates. Okay. Okay, so as I said, I will start with some general program updates, followed by David Foss, our statewide brownfields coordinator, that will do some brownfields updates. And then I will continue on along with Ken, going through MCP amendments, both an overview of the changes and some implementation related items. And we are intending to wrap up this meeting at 11. So moving right ahead.
Liz, I'm not seeing your screen.
Yeah,
I'm not either.
Okay. All right. Oh, that last button, share, would help.
You're good now.
Thank you. How's that?
That's good.
Looks great.
Okay, thank you. So I want to start by talking about some changes to DEP leadership. And we're very excited to welcome Deputy Commissioner John Beeling back to the department. John is our new, as of last week, I think, our new Deputy Commissioner for Policy. One of the positions I mentioned that Paul had held in the recent past. John comes to us from the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation, where he was the commissioner most recently, and during his time there, he helped implement infrastructure spending under the federal reinvestment in infrastructure. He expanded the state's PFAS program. He implemented their new environmental justice law, and he also recently was overseeing the response of Vermont to the catastrophic flooding that he experienced. He has a lot of experience in both the state and federal government. He's worked in the AG's office in both Vermont and Massachusetts. He's worked for EPA. He's worked for the Department of Justice, and he returns to us, but he at one time was in the Central Regional Office, where he was both a Deputy Regional Director as well as a Senior Counsel. I knew John a little bit before, when he was with us at DEP. I've met with him recently, filled him in on all things related to priorities within waste site cleanup. We talked about PFAS, we talked about MCP amendments, we talked about soil disposal capacity issues, and I'm going to have the opportunity to meet with him frequently. The other real benefit of now having John join Gary Moran, our Deputy Commissioner for Operations, is that we now have a team that can help us, work across regions and work across programs on so many issues that cross operational and cross program lines. So it's very exciting news for DEP. I also want to just emphasize that we're continuing to be spending a lot of time on hiring efforts. The Waste Site Cleanup Program currently has over half dozen positions that are posted or soon to be posted, approved. So I always want to use the chance we have here, where we have a group of people tuning in, to highlight that we're doing this hiring. It, like many of you all, hiring is a big focus and a challenge. would direct you to our Mass Careers website to look for those opportunities. And as always, I also appreciate the Licensed Site Professional Association for their efforts on our behalf to help amplify when we have positions open. I think we also have some good news in terms of some expanded hiring that the department's going to be able to do in the next year above and beyond backfilling positions for all of those within the waste site cleanup program that are retiring. I think, as you know, we're kind of particularly in a spot where we're seeing a lot of retirements because 30 years ago, this is the 30th year anniversary of the waste site cleanup program. Many of us, including myself, were part of that group of then young new staff that were hired. So we're seeing a pace of retirement, I think, in our program that is maybe even above and beyond what the rest of the department is seeing. But it's great. We have been able to hire. It's great to have the new, young, next generation of staff coming and joining us in the program, and overlapping with our senior and experienced staff. So we're looking forward to keeping that effort going. I would like to be able to recognize all the people that have retired. That would be hard to capture all of that in a few short minutes, but I do want to mention one recent retirement that is significant with respect to the waste site cleanup MCP amendments, and that's Nancy Bettinger in the Office of Research and Standards. Nancy retired in June. She was very much a part of help putting this package together, which I know you all recognize has a lot of changes related to risk characterization. So want to just acknowledge Nancy's efforts, great work on the package. Also reassure you that we have ongoing support for training and guidance, completing guidance from the Office of Research and Standard. We have the help of Greg Braun and Nicole Moody, both of whom are going to be participating in the training. So just wanted to mention those few items related to hiring. A quick public service announcement of where you can go to keep up on program developments. I think most of you are probably already on our BWSC.information mailing list, but if not, that is where you'll be hearing more information as we continue to roll out MCP amendment implementation items. For example, we'll try to highlight those by alerting you to them by sending emails in the same way that we let you know about these meetings. And we will continue to hold office hours and waste site cleanup advisory committee meetings on the third Thursday of the month. We did take the month of July and August off for our office hours, but I anticipate we will be back in October. I think the date is October 19th. We will return to office hours, and then I'm aiming to most likely hold another advisory committee meeting in November, just to keep everyone up to date on MCP amendment related items, among other waste site cleanup items. A quick mention of something that's going on primarily behind the scenes, and it won't be, I think, that visible to external users of our EDP systems, but like our office moves of the past couple of years, it is something that is taking a lot of staff resources, but it will yield, I think, greater efficiencies and a lot more improved usability in terms of our IT internal systems. There's a major upgrade that was begun in June of 2022 that is going to affect how our waste site cleanup staff enter information into EDP. We're streamlining the data storage, and it's going to enhance our reporting capabilities. The first launch of this will be in December, and we will continue to we will continue to tweak it over time. But our staff are currently doing a lot of testing, and we're expanding over the next couple of months the number of staff that are testing the system. In terms of what you may notice, our staff will no longer be uploading forms in EDP the same way they have been, but you will see documents that have the same information from our staff, such as our 102 form for reporting. That information will be there, but it will appear differently. It will give us some improvements in data quality. We're anticipating in that it allows us more flexibility to update information. And there you may notice some difference in terms of reporting, that the staff will be entering the location at the time of notification by dropping a pin on the map, which so that will be a change for the notifications that you call into us. Another thing to flag: PFAS as a PFAS site work continues. We're continuing to have a lot of staff focused on site discovery work related to notifications that we're receiving, or expanding from information that we have about impacts to public and private water supplies, to identify sources and work to identify potential responsible parties to pick up the cleanup in those cases. We're also continuing on with the mitigation work that we do in the event that we identify imminent hazard conditions. One thing the department is focused on now across all of the programs is looking at the various legislation that's out there. There are several PFAS-related bills in the legislature right now, including the one that came out of the legislative committee, the PFAS Omnibus Bill, that is very comprehensive and covers things such as establishing a remediation trust that would be available to municipalities and public water supplies, and also would include grants available to private well owners, users. It directs both the Department of MassDEP and the Department of Public Health to follow up on certain provisions, including MassDEP's amendment of surface water and groundwater discharge permits, and proposing wastewater effluent limits and pretreatment standards. There's also provisions related to AFFF notification to the department that very much mirror what we have in place in terms of voluntary notifications right now. So a hearing was held in June. As I said, our department is just now spending time looking through those provisions, preparing for providing comments as we do when major pieces of environmental legislation are out there. I will hear more about that. I would imagine in the upcoming meetings and throughout the coming legislative session. I also wanted to highlight the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs EJ strategy. That document was made available at about this time last year, and it went out for public comments, and listening sessions were held. It's an overall strategy for our secretariat, but within it, each agency is developing a work plan that it would implement to improve the way we ensure environmental justice across in the way we implement our programs. The MassDEP EJ strategy addresses components such as how we hire, how we improve and do a better job with community engagement and outreach, how we can enhance that, how we address limited English proficiency populations, making sure we're translating materials, providing translation services, that sort of thing, enhancing the training we do. It also has us looking when we're providing grants and funding opportunities to ensure that we're reaching environmental justice communities and making that information available in a timely way. And a big part of it is related to permitting facilities and allowing for meaningful public involvement around permits. And there is a portion of that related to metrics and how we would judge whether or not we're doing a good job with respect to this environmental justice strategy. So as I said, it was out for public comment. Our agency has been looking at those comments, and a final plan is being developed. I know that the Licensed Site Professional Association provided a set of comments that Waste Site Cleanup has looked at carefully. A lot of those were around recognizing the unique role that LSPs play in disposal site cleanups, and even though this EJ strategy was directed at what our agency staff should be doing, that we should also recognize that there are other involved in doing the agency's work or implementing the agency's regulation that could also use support in terms of how we do public outreach and ways to improve that. And along those lines, DEP is in the process of updating our public involvement guidance, and Ken will mention this later on when he talks about the different guidance work that's under development. But as part of that, we will be looking to update that guidance to incorporate EJ principles and reflect the best practices in terms of reaching EJ communities. And I think in follow-up to that, at some point, we would be looking to provide training to support that. I also wanted to mention that the technical assistance grants, we have another round out there. The applications will be due October 13th. There was a public information session held, and people submitted comments, and those responses to those comments that had come in or submitted questions. The responses to those questions have been posted, and you can find this information here. So this is our third year running that we've brought back the technical assistance grants. It is one way that we can enhance how communities can be involved in waste site, disposal site issues and understanding them and participating in them. The first year we funded 3, last year we funded 4. We're hoping that this year we will see more applications and hopefully be able to provide funds to additional groups. One more grant opportunity to mention, and this is under our Marine Oil Spill Prevention and Response Act program. We have an upcoming grant. We don't have an exact date yet, but we're anticipating that it will be posted in late October. So if this is of interest to you, continue to check in on this. The grant can fund projects that will enhance protection of coastal and marine waters. So some of the examples have in the past have been for spill preparedness training, for assessments of risk and research around that, wildlife rehabilitation related to oil spills, and climate resiliency projects focused on assessing the transport of oil and how that might be affected by climate change and our preparedness for it in terms of how we train around prevention and response to oil spills. Eligible applicants include public entities, state authorities, others, partnerships, and cooperations. So you can find the information there at that link. You can also reach out to our MASPRA program coordinator, Julie Hutchinson. And I think with that, those were the updates I intended to cover. So I think I'll stop at this point and just see if there are any questions related to that before I let David take over with the Brownfields update. If you have a question, you can either raise a hand, unmute yourself. Oh, Ned, see.
Hi, two questions actually. One is with regard to the new and improved EDEP approach for filings made by department personnel. I guess the one that I most often look at, or the ones that I most often look at, are audits. And so I'm just curious if you know how the available information that we'll be seeing on the website will look with the new format. And then the second question was just if you had any idea what the funding level might be, or at least the proposed funding level might be regarding the PFAS fund that you mentioned in connection with the legislation. Thanks.
Okay, well, so with respect to the PFAS funding, I don't know. I don't know what's proposed. If you look at the legislation, from what I recall, it will include funds from various sources. So the legislature can put money into that fund. Any settlements that we have, for example, the lawsuit that has been filed by the Attorney General's office against PFAS manufacturers, any settlement funds of that sort, I believe would be put into that fund. I don't recall that it said anything about the amount, but if anyone else here knows differently, please chime in on that. With respect to the upgrade that we're doing, and my understanding is the same type of information will be there. So in terms of audit screening forms that we provide, that would still be there. The plan is to have the same information. It just might appear slightly different in format. I don't really, Ned, know the details of that, but if there's something related to that you're interested in, I can certainly get you more information on it. And thank you for raising it, because I did want to also recognize, in terms of the big effort that our staff are putting into this, and the expanded testing, I wanted to recognize the contribution of that group, and in particular, it's being led by Matt Fitzpatrick out of our central regional office. So it has been a huge project for them, and they've been very creative and very aggressive in terms of wanting to bring improvements to our staff in terms of the usability and accessibility of that information to us, to make our ability to use that system much more efficient and easier for someone, even for someone like me to go in there and be able to readily access that information. So I can't overstate the amount of work that's gone into that, and we're anticipating over time that it will bring us really a big improvement in terms of efficiency in how we access our information.